What's up, y'all? This is Emmanuel live at the NPEA conference here in Philadelphia. I got a special guest with me. I see this brother everywhere. We see each other everywhere. And it's been a blessing whenever we do communicate. But without further ado, I let him introduce himself and what he represents and why he's here at the conference.
How you doing? Dog, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no.
My name is Marquise Davon Richards. I'm here based in Philly. I'm an educator and also a college access practitioner. So your boy's a long title is Assistant Director of Upward Bound Math and Science at Temple University, where my job is to get first generation Black and brown students into STEM majors, careers, and beyond.
Wow. All right, break down what the Upward Bound program is for folks that don't know.
So Upward Bound is an opportunity for first generation and low income students to start going on their college journey and believe that it's a possibility for them. And so oftentimes people are like, well, I don't know what college is for. Is this for me? And they're not always encouraged to go. And so this was an opportunity, one, to level the playing field for students who may not have family members who went to college prior to them. So they might be the first in their families to be able to go through such a process where we give them the language, we give them the exposure, we give them tutoring, but we also provide mentors for them as well. And so we try to bring that as a space to see, like, I can envision myself here, because sometimes we get to college and it's immediately the imposter syndrome kicks in. And that's why we see so many kids want to leave school altogether, because they're like, this isn't a place for me. I don't see myself here for the long run, right? And so our program is meant to combat that piece of students who don't want to go to college or don't think it's for them.
Got you. The imposter syndrome thing, speak to that for students right now that are probably watching this, or even parents that are watching this. What's some encouragement you can give them as they're fighting through that, especially as it applies to your program?
Yeah, I had to remind myself every single day, I belong here. I'm supposed to be here. I work to get here, just like everybody else worked to get here. But the thing is that I realized, I said, now some of y'all are legacy admissions. So some of y'all are, you just had a parent who might have paid a lot of money or went to the school, and then you have access to the school as well. So I remind myself, like, no, there are just different opportunities that are presented to different people. I don't think it's never gonna be, you're never skilled enough, you're never smart enough. It's gonna be, they're equal in talent. It's not equal in opportunity and access. That's the difference of you. So remind yourself every single day, you got there on your merit despite the odds.
But out of all the upward bound programs in the city, what makes Temple so different from everyone else's?
Ours is in North Philly, I'm not gonna hold. Like, it's a different community. Like, CCP has one, Penn has one, but particularly for Temple, we're finding really cool and innovative ways for our students to be able to engage with current Temple students, but also what does it mean to also give back to the community as well?
Right.
And so what we've been trying to do a lot more is finding more high impact opportunities for our students. So that's meeting with Black professionals who they get to see around the city, because we want to continue to do that career exposure piece as well. Like, hey, here are a bunch of Black folks, young Black people who are in STEM. What does it mean for my kids to see that? Because they might not know everything that encompasses STEM outside of, like, computer science and engineering. Right. There's data analysts that exist out here.
That's true.
There are people who are playing video games to figure out a user experience. That's all there. And so Temple, I think particularly what we're doing is giving our kids different opportunities. One, to sit here on this campus all the time and engage with students who are currently enrolled at Temple, but then also provide unique opportunities, whether that's a dual enrollment. And I think something that's also unique is, like, under our center that we have, which is called CREATE, is this Center for Reimagining Excellence, Access, and Transformation in Education. That is an opportunity for us to be an actual resource to anybody in Philly, but particularly North Philly. If you're a kid in North Philly and you don't feel like you belong at Temple, that doesn't sound right if that's right in your backyard, right? And so what does it mean for us to be able to go out and communicate that? But we also have students who can also be those ambassadors who have potential to go from being at Temple's campus from pre-K all the way up until their senior year, and then hopefully transition into becoming a student.
Wow. From pre-K all the way to the senior year.
All the programs that people don't realize exist.
And they all under Temple.
Yeah.
And that's gonna bring me to my, like, what's the age requirement? What's the requirements to even get in?
All our real requirements are, like, make sure you're a student in a Philly school. We don't do private schools just because, like, they're just a different beast, but we do public and charter schools as well. And make sure you are low income and the first in your family to go to college. And so it's just to level the playing field that way.
In your experience working with the students and parents, what are some of the things you've been hearing or concerns you've been hearing from folks that are like first generation, like the hesitations, or can you speak to the hesitations, like kind of help to tame that a little bit?
So for one, right now, parents are like, well, why you need my what you need my social security card? For? What you need that for? Like they're giving out personal information, but they may not know what the process looks like, and so we realize it's a language barrier that begins to happen as well, right? And that's from a parent side. So they are also going through this process for the first time of like, I gotta put my kid through school. How much money does this cost? Those are financial anxieties that parents are facing. I think for students, I think it's also a very gendered experience too. Boys are particularly not matriculating through college or seeing it as a viable option most times because they think I need to take care of family. I have an obligation to be the man of the house. It's not going to make me any money. But also, I don't see myself in college. When you're looking at those where what they used to say, boys go to Jupiter to get more stupid, or girls go to college to get more knowledge. They're almost gendering like education, and pursuit of education is a feminine thing. It's not a masculine thing to do. And so we see that also happening here. But I think particularly for our girls, I also am noticing like they actually are wanting to pursue college a lot more. They're the ones who are actively engaging in scholarships and trying to get those pieces more and more. And so I think it's interesting because the messaging breakdown, all parents want their children to be able to go because it's the way forward. But boys are seeing this as like, I don't know if it's for me, but girls are like really hitting the ground running. And for them, it's more of a socialization piece though too. So they're just like, I can't depend on anybody else, so I need to go. So I think it's interesting on how some of their anxieties manifest as like, I gotta be the man of the house, or I can't depend on anybody else to take advantage of the future.
Snap. But when you enter in the Upward Bound, you're entering into a community of people that are probably having the same struggles, and y'all able to talk. Can you speak to that community aspect of Upward Bound? Like, I seen my friend Tone, and he was like his son's is involved in there, and I seen like how they got like this camaraderie, and can you speak to that?
Yeah, honestly, the community is probably the thing that people come to us for the most, right? And so like we surveyed our students because I do believe our program is designed based off of student needs, and so we got to be able to like respond to that. But community is the very first thing that they all talk about in this space of just like, I come here because I feel safe. I come here because I have a tutor mentor who is my age, or not my age, but at least closer to my age. They be looking at me, they're like, you Mr. Marquis. I'm like, I'm 29, it's not true. But in reality, they come there every day because it's a consistent space. It's a third space for them to be at, but they are also getting support. And so the community is probably the biggest piece of what that looks like. And that could look like jokes with the kids. That can be us taking them on trips. We got kids to go out of the city for the very first time. They went to 19 out of 42 of our students experienced DC for the first time. But that was also their first time out of the city. Right? And so those are little things I think we tend to forget a lot of the time. So building experiences and community through curating experiences, having those informal touch points where we can just like laugh and joke. And I don't need you to be a student. I need you to be a young human that feels like you can trust me.
That's true. Being a human being, showing up as a human, and realizing that you belong there. That's super important. Did you go to an Upward Bound program before, or like?
So funny enough, not at all.
No.
But my boss, who's my current boss, actually recruited at my high school when I was currently in high school.
Oh, for real?
So all of my friends know who she is. I never met this lady a day in my life until I applied to this position. So like so many of my friends are like Upward Bound people, but I have never. It wasn't.
So all right, being on the other side, being that you never experienced it, and everyone else might have. Could you speak to someone who also has your same experience and encourage them like, yo, go for it? You know what I mean? Or like like things that just really surprise you, and you just wish like, dang, if I knew.
I wish I would have had like somebody there who was actually walking me through this process. Like I went through my college process by myself. And so I'm watching all of my friends be like, oh yeah, we did this and we got this and this is done this. And I'm saying, I'm like, dog, I gotta do this all on my own. I thought the IRS was gonna come get me. Like I was anxious the entire time. And so I would tell everybody, like, if you have an opportunity to see this resource and you fall into those qualifications, like absolutely take advantage of it, because it's also recognizing that joining a program like Upward Bound, which has been around for so long, it's a college access program, which means schools see that. When I worked at that admissions house back when I was at my college, if you see Upward Bound on there, that means you are already interested in pursuing college, which means you want to be an active participant in the space. So it already sets you apart from wanting to do that. So even just from a college application piece, it demonstrates that you want to go, and it's not just something you feel like you're forced to do.
Wow, I didn't even know that piece.
Yep.
So college admissions see Upward Bound on there. They're like, oh, this person must be really engaged and interested. If you go through the Temple Upward Bound program, do you have to live in North Philly, one? Secondly, do you have to go to Temple when you leave, when you graduate out of there?
Nah, not at all. As long as you are a Philadelphia resident. Now, our partner schools that we have 5 partner schools with Ben Franklin, the U School, Strawberry Mansion, Dobbins, and also Simon Gratz. And so those are the schools where if they apply to our program, they get priority. Because those schools often might not have the best school profile, so some colleges and universities might overlook them. But no, as long as you are in Philadelphia, you can go to Upward Bound. And no, you do not have to go to Temple.
Yeah.
Upward Bound is here to ensure that we just are exposing you as many colleges as possible. Now, are there some benefits to potentially just being like, hey, I went through this program?
Yeah.
You're going to see different things that Temple offers, and so you might be able to qualify for like a Cecil B. Moore scholarship, which cover your entire stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so there are different things that can be offered, but no, I always encourage students of like, are you trying to get away from your parents? How far are you trying to be away? What you trying to do? And so so it's not, just because we're housed there doesn't mean that you have to go there.
All right, dope. All right, man, we're going to do some quick fire questions.
Okay.
That was really good. What college did you go to?
Susquehanna University.
Okay. And what was your major?
I was a double major, so I went for digital multimedia, broadcast journalism, and theater studies.
Okay, and what made you choose those majors?
I wanted to fun majors. I tell everybody all the time, if I have to go to work in a tie, I'm not doing it. So I studied things that I thoroughly enjoyed. I loved what TV was able to do in mass media, and it was always intrigued me. But theater was something that I was always passionate about. So I was a musical theater kid, loved being on stage. So I was just like, why not go into it? So I started off in college, my freshman year, as just a broadcasting major. I studied abroad the summer going into my sophomore year in the Czech Republic. I learned about theater for social justice and said, yeah, I really like this too, so I'm gonna add this too, so why not?
You studied abroad. Was that your first time abroad?
That was my first time abroad. It was my first time on a plane.
Can you speak to students that may have the opportunity but may not want to do it because of fear, that obvious fears that come with it?
Yeah, no, I highly encourage it. I actually selected Susquehanna University because it was a mandatory thing we had to do. So studying abroad was mandatory because one of their pillars was global citizenship. And so for me, that was important because that meant that they were going to pay for a lot of it, and they paid for all of it. So,
Wow.
But I think it's just really important because it was my first time out of the country, but it helped me understand my relationship to America, my relationship to home, and what it meant to just experience a culture that I knew nothing about.
Wow, that's amazing. And realizing the majors that you're presenting, and I see how it works in Upward Bound, but like, how you go from that to that? You know what I mean? Because I know you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But like, how'd you go from that to this?
Oh, it was all an accident. Okay, I tell my kids all the time. I said, yeah, I should be, as long as I'm behind the camera or yapping. I found my use of my majors in very unique and different ways.
Right.
I got into education by accident. I ended up quitting my job as a full-time social media and content consultant, which is like, I'm not a task-oriented person, but I was purpose-driven. And so I needed to do something that felt like I was making an impact. And I was like, oh, I wanted to get into broadcasting because I was like, I don't think there are enough black people who are like in film and on TV and like really talking around some stuff. And then theater for me was just like, I was a theater studies person. So I was like, it's a dramaturg, but I studied the world of the theater. And so trying to figure out like, all right, why are they still using these words? What does the stage look like? What is da-da-da-da? And I really enjoyed that piece. But my work shows up very uniquely. So when I got into teaching, I realized, I was like, oh, my lesson plan is my script. Teaching is simply acting. You are either gonna get the laughs, and if you get the laughs, great. That means if the students are actually learning, cool. If they're not, you gotta find a different way to get your same end result, which is a satisfied audience. And so it's very interesting on like how I looked at it, but I was like, yeah, there's always gonna be an audience, whether you're on TV or on stage.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then obviously, broadcast journalism happens with my podcasting that I do outside of work as well.
Very dope.
Yeah.
Oh, what was your favorite college memory?
My favorite college memory was the day that Kendrick's album Damn came out and all of my friends left this bar area so we can go down and listen to the Kendrick album. That following year, this is the stack on top of it, is when Kendrick had won the Pulitzer and Beyonce for Damn, and Beyonce won the Peabody Award for Lemonade. And our hip hop and philosophy professor ended up teaching a class. Shout out to Dr. Michael Thomas. He taught a class in the Starbucks because that's the same year that in Philly, the Starbucks had arrested 2 black men and said, y'all are just loitering. And so he was like, what does it mean to be in a space like a Starbucks where black people are learning and sharing knowledge, the history of the coffee house and how he used to do that. For Beyonce to be getting a Peabody, which is disrupting a white space, and Kendrick to have a Pulitzer for a rap album and another white space. And so it was like this really metacognitive thing that was going on, but it really shaped how I believe like learning can happen anywhere. And what does it mean for us as black folks to be disrupting? And I was like, I'm a black person in a PWI. Like that's a different experience. And so what does it mean to encourage learning in any way, knowing it can learn at any place? And that shaped how I approach everything in education, podcasting, my own philosophy, my own politics, is all because Dr. Michael Thomas wanted to make a statement and ensure that they knew black folks were supposed to be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you could say one thing to your high school self, what would that be?
Breathe. I was a kid who did way too much. And it all resulted in the same thing, but recognizing like, appreciate the journey, perfection is not attainable. And for me, I realized I tried to do everything and burnt myself out by the time I was a senior in high school. And telling my high school self, it is going to work out. Make sure you breathe, and it's okay to get that B+.
All right, that was so awesome. Thank you, Marquis. I appreciate you, bro. That was good. That was good. All right, y'all. We out.